which city do you live now?
Well, I'm currently living in Ho Chi Minh City, one of the biggest city in Vietnam. It has some tourist attractions.
Okay. Are there any things you don't like about your area?
To be honest, the area I'm living in is pretty good. It's nothing too There's nothing too chaotic or claustrophobic happening in my district. Everyone in there is friendly and they greet us every day, like what nice people would do.
Is there anything you don't like, you dislike about it?
Well, I guess the only thing I dislike about my district is probably the problem with littering. I can say that my district has a lot of trash on the ground, even though it stated itself as a
Okay, yeah, I see. So, do you think
ready.
you will continue to live there for a long time?
I think so. But I'm planning on leaving my district to go to somewhere else some days.
Okay. So now let's talk about what you do. Do you work or are you a student?
Well, I'm a student. That's
What
a high school student, like to be exact. Currently in 11th grade. It's studying at Butisong High School. I'm the part of class B with math, biology, and chemistry.
Okay. What do you find most interesting about your studies?
What I find most interesting is probably the fact that it's hard as heck. All the studies there, not too easy. The tests are, to be honest, the area I'm living in is pretty good. It's nothing too There's nothing too chaotic or claustrophobic happening in my district. Everyone in there is friendly and they greet us every day, like what nice people would do.
Is there anything you don't like, you dislike about it?
Well, I guess the only thing I dislike about my district is probably the problem with littering. I can say that my district has a lot of trash on the ground, even though it stated itself as a
Okay, yeah, I see. So, do you think
ready.
you will continue to live there for a long time?
I think so. But I'm planning on leaving my district to go to somewhere else some days.
Okay. So now let's talk about what you do. Do you work or are you a student?
Well, I'm a student. That's
What
a high school student, like to be exact. Currently in 11th grade. It's studying at Butisong High School. I'm the part of class B with math, biology, and chemistry.
Okay. What do you find most interesting about your studies?
What I find most interesting is probably the fact that it's hard as heck. All the studies there, not too easy. The tests are so difficult, and I was even forced to go to that kind of class. I mean, I'm planning to go for math, English, and chemistry, but no, I was sent to math, biology, and chemistry just because stereotypical Asian parents forcing their child to become doctors.
Okay, I see. So what is more important to you? the teachers or the other students on your course?
Personally, it will be the teachers. I always rely on them because I don't really interact with the students in my class that much, and they don't even study. All they do is just play around on their phones or talk with their friends. I don't get why my parents always force me to make friends at school because they think that they can share some educational information with you, but I doubt that.
Okay, I see. So how much time do you spend studying every week?
About 2 to 4 hours. But usually, if there's a big homework, then it could extend to maybe 5 hours, 5 hours. And I would usually skip my daily nap thanks to that.
Okay. How do you usually travel to your school?
Well, I travel by my parents' motorcycle instead of just walking or cycling, since my home is very far away from my school, since it's from District 1 and my house is in District 7. So I was gonna rely on my parents' vehicle to transport me to my school. Sometimes they can wake up late, and I would end up late for school, and sometimes end up in the principal's office, like what happened last week.
Okay, yeah, I see. So now let's talk about robots. Do you know something about robots?
Well, I know that they're the future of the world. They're having the development of the robot seems to be very bright, and some people believe that these technologies moving things, yeah, they could take over some jobs in the future.
Okay. So did you like any film that has a robot in it when you were a child?
Any film?
Yeah.
I don't remember any film that I liked related to robots. I don't really watch that much movies or television shows about technologies.
Okay. Do you use robot in your daily life?
Um, barely use them. Barely ever use them since my house don't really has a robot. Wait.
Okay. Will you be comfortable if you are on a car driven by a robot?
Yeah, I think I'll be okay with that since they're controlled by AI, and AI can be trustable, I guess. Trusted. So I can kind of trust on them.
Okay. So now let's move to part 2 of the test. In the part 2 of the test, you have 1 minute to prepare. 1 minute to prepare for your answer, and then you have 2 minutes to talk about the topic. Do you get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. So now let me share with you the topic.
Quick question.
Okay, this is the question for you. Wait a minute, let me share the screen here.
Quick question. Can
Okay, yeah, the topic. And then I will give you 1 minute to talk about that, okay? So now, let me share about this topic. Okay, you have 1 minute to prepare for your topic. Here is your topic.
can I ask you something? Can I ask
Yeah?
in speaking part 1, did they just instantly tell you the question and you have to answer, or do you have time to prepare for speaking part 1?
No, you don't have time to prepare for speaking part 1 and part 3. You just have 1 minute for part 2. That's it. Because part 1 is general information like communication, nothing much. So don't worry, just part 2 and part 3. This will be a big trouble. Okay, so now I give you 1 minute to repeat this topic, to think about your answer. 1 minute, start. Okay, so now time's up. And you have 2 minutes. Okay, to talk about your topic. Can you get it? Are you ready?
Wait, can I have a look at the questions, or do I just
Okay,
forget about the question?
look at the screen, because here when you come to the real examination, you have to look at the examiners. You don't look at. Sometimes you can land it, the question, but most of the time you have to look at the, look at the examiners. But here I will let you to do it as this is your first time you do it. But you shouldn't look at the question all the time instead of the face of the examiners.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you have 2 minutes. 2 minutes start. Can you say now?
Right. So, whenever foreigners travel to Vietnam, they sometimes have a big problem with language barriers, as the Vietnamese is not one of the most well-known languages in the world. That's why I got a perfect man for the situation. A guy from my school who's also my best friend. His name is Kang, and of course, he's from Ho Chi Minh City, like any other Vietnamese. A pretty modern city that is located in the south of Vietnam. So, how he learns Vietnamese? Simple. He just speak the language when he was young, and he has talent in the language he speak. He also wrote some intriguing paragraphs and poems back in his secondary schools year, and he got good grades from those tests. So with all those Vietnamese knowledge that he gathered, I think he can help the foreigners understand better about our country's culture and translate anything that whenever any sentences, any words, whenever the foreigners get confused. Oh my god.
That's all?
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's move through part 3 of the test. Okay, so now I will ask some questions regarding your topic in part 2. We have been talking about the foreigner who speaks your language very well. So now let's ask you some question. Question number 1. What foreign languages do Vietnamese children learn?
Well, English, of course. English.
Why English?
Because it's one of the most fundamental languages in the world, besides Chinese, even though I've never seen a person speak Chinese before. English, on the other hand, yeah, it's a pretty useful language to learn, as if almost every other countries adapt that language in their nation, like 60% of them. So that's why learning English is pretty vital.
How can you help children learn English? How? How can they learn English?
Well, they start by learning the alphabets of the English language, and start out with such simple words like apple or bananas or something. After that, they can start learning on the grammars, and then the tenses of the words, and such vocabularies like verbs or adjectives of those words, and soon they can become fluent English speakers and be able to communicate with foreigners around the world.
Okay. Do you think the way people learn English today is the same as in the past?
Yeah, I think so. I believe that the way of learning English hasn't been changed for maybe years. I mean, the way of studying it has been the same ever since I was young. I study English the same way, even as I did as I'm doing now in 11th grade.
Okay. What are the benefits of the internet for people's learning? Hello?
I'm not ready.
What are the benefits of the internet for people's learning?
Well, people's learn benefited.
Can you get the question?
Wait, I'm trying to process here. I'm busy doing something. So the internet, it's like a dictionary, but with everything that you can imagine. All the questions you have, all the difficulties in your life, you can just download Google and ask it a simple question. It'll give you all the answers that you ask for. And all the possible results that you get can benefit you a lot. Which is probably the reason why a lot of people are dependent on the internet nowadays.